David Hayter!
I kept you waiting, huh?
You can see the line's already starting for you.
Oh my God, look at that. This is fantastic.
The lights are really bright, aren't they?
They are pretty bright.
Yeah.
I'm just going to assume the whole place is filled.
Absolutely, to the brim. But yeah, absolutely. If we want to get started on some fan questions, I don't want to keep you guys waiting. This is all about you guys.
What was your reaction to Snake being added to Brawl back in like 2005, 2008?
What was my reaction? I was like, it's showtime. We were recording Metal Gear 4 in Hollywood at this sound studio, and they asked if Nintendo asked Konami if they could do it. They said yes. They asked me if I would do it. I said sure. And so they came in one day while we were recording MGS4. And we took like 45 minutes and did all the codec calls and just recorded it in the same booth, and off they went. And that's how it happened. It was pretty cool.
Does Solid Snake prefer Chicago deep dish or New York style pizza?
All right. Look, now I'm going to be in trouble because I have yet to try the Chicago deep dish. Every time I come, I'm like, everybody's like, Lou Milinotti's, or you got to go to Giovanni's, or what?
It's right next door.
Meat Pods. What is?
Yeah, we can get you some pizza. Can we get one of the guys to run out?
Right.
Yeah, I'm sure they can be back by the end of the panel.
We'll figure it out. But yes, I was determined this time I was going to try the Chicago deep dish pizza. So I apologize for my lack of knowledge, but I'll just say off the top of my head that Chicago is much better.
When you first auditioned and were cast into the role, did you have any idea how revolutionary the game would be, what it would mean for your career, and that you would be potentially talking about it 25 years later here with all of us?
Yeah, those are all different questions.
You're right.
I was a gamer, and like I say, I was big into the original PlayStation, so I played Resident Evil, I played Abe's Oddworld, and all sorts of PlayStation games, and so I knew what the state of the art was. And when I went in and they showed me I think it was on the first day, they showed me the fight against the Hind-D helicopter and just how cinematic it was, and I was like, oh, this is going to be something else. Like, this is going to be a big swing of a game. And my career was pretty dead. I mean, I'd been struggling and sort of making my way for about 8 years and working here and there, but so I didn't, I thought the game was going to be big. I had no idea we'd be talking about it 25 years later, or that it would be the juggernaut that it was, and I had no idea that was where my career was actually starting to really work out nicely. So it was a mixed bag. I thought it was going to be big, and I hoped it would be big, but I had no idea that it would be like this. It was pretty cool.
Was there any like artistic or creative difficulties that you came across in writing those scripts, and like a story that you wanted to share in those? Because those were like amazing movies that like formed my childhood, and so I was just really just wanted to ask you that question. There's difficulties
when you write a $150 million movie. You're going to run into difficulties. When I first got onto the X-Men set, that was my big screenwriting break, and I thought, oh my God, we're making X-Men, we're building all these sets, we got all these amazing actors, this is going to be so much fun. But nobody was having any fun. It was just tense and awful, and just the studio was freaking out and hated us all, and it was. It's not the dream factor you think it is. And in retrospect, it's fun. It's cool that we did all those things, and it's cool that we were, on those sets and working with those actors and everything. And there were fun moments, but oh my God, it was, it was stressful. I'm trying to think of a story I can tell you that's not horrible. but I can't think of one.
Do have kind of a side question about that, about X-Men, because it kind of seemed like you had more of a storyline planned for the Senator when they kind of like trained him into like a water-like substance and he was going to be more like the Blob. But then we never got any conclusions with that, so I was curious if you had any more to say about that.
No, the Senator Kelly storyline was pretty much as it was written. The idea was that Magneto was manufacturing mutants, but they're man-made, so they're not very good. Like he gives the technology is kind of half-baked, and so Senator Kelly starts to develop these powers, but really he just turns into a bag of water and dissolves. Oh, spoiler alert! Probably should have mentioned that before. So no, it was really an illustration of you either are born a mutant or not, but you can't really create it in the lab, or at least not with that technology.
That makes a lot of sense. Thank you so much.
You're quite welcome. Nice to meet you.
I wanted to know who and what inspired you as a child to be an actor, and who continues to today.
I was inspired by Harrison Ford and Tom Cruise, and then today I'm inspired by Tom Cruise and Harrison Ford. Those two were like the coolest. Like I was in Japan when Top Gun came out, and so I saw it in the theaters again and again. Like most of my mannerisms, most of my whole thing I got from Top Gun. I'll be spinning a pen, or I'll be, it's just trying to channel Pete Mitchell in Top Gun. And then it was Raiders Lost Ark that convinced me to go into the movies. I was just so blown away by that movie and by Harrison Ford, and I just wanted to be doing whatever they were doing up there. And then beyond that, I mean, there's amazing actors, a million amazing actors, Gary Oldman, and I don't know, Gary Oldman, I guess.
Are there any other characters in gaming that you would ever be interested in possibly voice acting?
Well, I'd love to play Batman. I auditioned to play Batman once for the Telltale Games one, and they did not hire me, so that was a desperate mistake on their part. But I've always loved Batman, so I'd love to do that. And then, I don't know. I mean, that's always the one that I go for. I mean, I loved Daredevil when I was a kid. If they did a Daredevil game, I'd love to do that. I'd love to play Wolverine, So there's a few.
There's the talk of the Metal Gear movie that's coming out. Any chance that you're going to have a cameo or is playing a box or something in the background?
You just see a little box going by in the background. No, I mean, there's a chance, but I don't know anything about it. I don't know.
Blink twice if you've signed an NDA.
What's your favorite Pokemon?
What's my favorite oatmeal?
Pokemon, yeah.
One more time.
What's your favorite Pokemon?
Favorite Pokemon.
Oh, well, it has to be Squirtle.
Thank you. And to end the question with the first question, how did you react to Smash Ultimate, Snake coming back after being gone in 4? Even though I know they didn't get new lines, but how did you react to him coming back?
I was very happy about that. It's like I say, the Smash Brothers games give me a whole other audience and like much younger kids, and it was sort of a side effect I never expected. So I wanted them to. I called Nintendo, and I was like, I'd do more codecs, and they never called me back. Probably.
They kept you waiting, huh?
Oh, they kept me waiting. They definitely kept me waiting. Probably because of what I made them pay me the first time. But I would have loved to have done more. But just the fact that I get like 8-year-old kids coming up going, I main Snake and Smash. Like that's A, that's cool, and B, it's better than playing Metal Gear at 8. Because that is not appropriate. I'm sorry, and the questions have all been over here. I didn't mean for you just to see the side of my head. I want you to catch this whole situation. So, I guess those were the questions.
Well, I've got one final question
all
for
right.
you. Shoot, we try to do this for every single panel that we try to host here. Would you be opposed to doing one big photo shot with all of us to see out the weekend?
I would love that.
Ladies and gentlemen, David Hayter, thank you guys so much. If you guys want to be in the photo, come up to the stage. And we're going to be facing this way for the photo.